Hi everyone, so before this video starts, I just want to say that my university journey is a lot different from maybe others you saw on YouTube because I only applied to universities in Melbourne and Indonesia. The universities I applied to in Melbourne were Monash University, University of Melbourne, and RMIT. And then in Indonesia, I applied to University of Indonesia and Venus University. I'm gonna be honest, I made this video because I felt like the college application process was really stressful and confusing, and I hoped with making this video, those of you applying to the same schools as I was, or just those of you who are feeling confused and lost, this video will help you sort of feel like you're not alone. And I do want to say, like, being in university, all of this stuff doesn't matter in the end. Everything happens for a reason. Just don't stress out too much. Talk to your counselor if you have one, or talk to someone else who's had experience. Hi, so it's May 11th, and right now I am writing this form to my teachers to have them write me recommendation letters. So because of coronavirus stuff, this whole process of getting recommendation letters is a lot different because usually you ask them in person and then give them the form, but I'm just gonna email them with the form attached. So basically what this form is like, what is your favorite assignment in this class, what are some skills you learned, what's your favorite thing about this class, and all that. And it's basically like to help your teachers write their recommendation letter if they choose to do so. People I'm gonna ask to write recommendation letters is my World Scholars Cup coach, my humanities teacher from year 10, and my English teacher from since year 10 till now. And like, I chose these people because, like, although I am majoring in psychology, counselor said to choose like teachers that know you the best, and these are the teachers that know me the best, or like I've learned a lot from my classes. And obviously World Scholars Cup is like my life, so I think having a recommendation letter from my coach would be helpful. But the thing is, I'm planning to apply to Australia. I basically narrowed it down to universities in Australia and then maybe a couple international universities in Indonesia, in case like my parents don't want me to go abroad yet. If I do go to an international university, I'm able to transfer like after 2 years, so I said I could just be abroad. Kind of been putting this off for a while. I have to send all these emails out before May 14th, but I've just been really busy. I'm gonna write these letters. Hopefully I'll get some letters back. Recommendation letters, all my teachers said yes, so I'll write one for me. My English teacher already sent mine to my counselor, but I can't actually see it because it's private. I don't know if I'm allowed to see it. I kind of want to though. Last night I had this like deep talk with my friends about uni and stuff. Basically I found this uni that I really want to go to, but I didn't have the math requirement because I took MISL, which is basically math studies, and this is like a school that needs math. So I was like really sad that I couldn't even apply. And then I saw in their FAQ section that you can actually still apply if you get over 600 in your math section of the SATs. So I guess I'm gonna take the SATs, which was so out of my plan because like the one reason why I wanted to apply to Melbourne so I didn't have to take the SATs, because I also thought I was gonna take the Ujian Nasional, which is like Indonesian standardized exams, but those are gone. So I don't know when I'm gonna take the SATs because it's currently like end of June. The first date after this is August. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Maybe I'll do like September, October. I also am going to study for the SATs alone, so it's all on me to get a good math score. And you know, I'm not that great at math, but I'm literally taking the SATs for one university. This is why you shouldn't take MISL unless you're really bad at math, because you might regret it in the future. Today I made this giant Google sheet. So it's not that giant, but I made this Google sheet. It's like all the details of all my universities that I want to go to. So far I have like 8. I don't think I'm going to apply to any more. It has like the uni names, degrees, majors. Yeah, it's just like keep track of all of my information. So like I know that if I get accepted to these schools, how to compare and contrast which ones I want to go to. We'll see which ones I get accepted to, if any. Last night I emailed like a bunch of schools and I got a reply from one of them. And remember how like literally the last clip of this video I said that I found my dream school and I could go to it if I take SATs. I emailed my dream school because I wanted to major in psychology, but the psychology that they have is behavioral and social psychology, whereas I wanted to major in clinical psychology. So I have no idea what I'm gonna do about that. I'm still gonna apply, so that means I still have to take the SATs. So I just registered. I need to take a photo, and now I have to start studying because I registered for the one in December, and that gives me I basically have 5 months to study for the SAT compared to other people who've been studying for years. So that's gonna be great. I'm gonna just use like the Khan Academy, so I haven't even started it yet, so let's start this, I guess. A couple weeks ago I met up with my university counselor because I just had a lot of questions because I am very uncertain and unsure about everything. But today I had a meeting with my counselor and my mom, and we kind of just talked about my university and stuff, and I think I still have to take UN, which sucks because everyone said it was gone, so I don't know who to believe. I think I just have to do my own research on that. But you know, one of the hardest things I would say is that like this decision isn't solely my choice, but also based off of my parents, so I can't just go to any university I want. So I have to make sure like even if I get into that university, it doesn't necessarily mean I can go there. I registered for my SAT a couple days ago, so I'm taking my SAT in October. I hope it goes well because those are so expensive. Why is standardized testing so expensive? Like you make it a requirement or optional at least, and then you still charge over $100 for it. Like where is the logic in that? So like last week I like set up all my portals for like applications and kind of just want to go through what the process is like. So I made the portals for Monash, University of Melbourne, and RMIT, which are pretty simple, just like put in your information and that's it. Then I created my StudyLink account because I'm applying to PPLE in University of Amsterdam, and then so I like created my StudyLink account, and then I had to wait like 24 hours to like get like my registration email or something like that. And then so I registered, and then what was really confusing was I had to submit an enrollment request, and like I honestly had no idea what the application process is like in the Netherlands, so I was like really confused. I like talked to my friend who's also applying to that same school. She's like, yeah, you need to submit an enrollment request just so that you were able to even apply to that program. So I sent my enrollment request and I got my like ID number and all that. So I created like a Notion page of like all my portals and stuff, and then I'm updating my Google Sheet. So also today I had a meeting with my university counselor because I just had like a lot of questions about a lot of stuff because like uni admissions process is so confusing. I'm only applying to 3 different countries, which honestly if it were up to me I'd be applying to a lot more. But yeah, I was just like a bit confused because university application process in Melbourne's pretty simple. You can apply early, you can apply regular. So after my discussion, I'm planning to extend my application for Melbourne after my mocks. So after like meeting, I sort of just like made my final decisions of like when I want to apply and stuff. So for Netherlands, I want to send my application by February. That's the second round, I think, and I have to wait for my SAT subject test, which is supposed to be December, but I don't even know if the test center is closed, so I need to figure out what's gonna happen if my test center is closed and like I have to do the test in like March, and then my grades are bad and then I can't even apply to that university. There's like a lot more for the PPLE program because it's one of the most competitive programs, and it's the only like super competitive program I'm applying to. There's like different rounds of the admissions process, which is very scary because there's like the first round is like you just have to do the test, and then if your test is good enough you have to like write an essay or something, I don't remember. After that you have to do like an interview, and then after that like then they'll tell you if you get in or not. So I'm gonna be honest, I doubt that I'll even be able to get into that school because the test dates are pretty like close to my mock, so I don't know how much time I can put into that. And second of all, Netherlands is so far, I really doubt my parents will even let me go, so like if I don't get in, it's fine. So for Melbourne, I sort of just asked more about like the admissions process, and I'm planning to send my application to Melbourne after my mocks because I did get my predicted grade so far, which is 38, which is like good because minimum requirement for Monash is 28, minimum requirement for University of Melbourne's 31. I forgot what it is for RMIT, I think it was like 26. So for Indonesia, I am like still like a bit confused. I still need to like read up and research more about it, but that's not until like later, until after I graduate, I don't think. Basically we should have UN or Ujian Nasional, which is like the national examinations that every single Indonesian national has to do. And then like basically everyone's like, oh yeah, it got cancelled, like you're not doing Ujian Nasional anymore. So I was like so excited. I'm like, okay, yay. So that means like I don't have to like focus on that. But it's not cancelled, they just made another test to replace it, which is called UBKD, Ujian Berbasis Komputer Daring, I think that's what it is, which is like basically the same thing. I'm gonna just focus more on like my Netherlands and Melbourne application because that's earlier on, and then I can worry more about Indonesia after my mocks and like maybe my IB exams. I still need to take IELTS. All the Indonesian universities I'm applying to need an IELTS grade. How I'm feeling right now in this stage is more, I'm like still really nervous. For my session with my counselor, who's like really sweet, like she's really helped me a lot, I just like felt really nervous because like I really want to study abroad and like move out, but like my parents don't really want me to, so I don't really know how that's gonna go. I'm like, I'll deal with it once I get into the university. I just checked my SAT test center and it is closed for the December SAT. The next one is in around March, but I have to submit my application in like February. And at this point, I'm considering just not applying to this university. First of all, it's in the Netherlands. It's the University of Amsterdam PPLE program, which at first I thought was like my dream program because it kind of is. Even if I did that program and majored in psychology, it would be more social psychology rather than clinical psychology. So it's like, is it even worth it? And also there is another test I could take that is online, but it is 200 euros and I cannot justify asking my parents to spend that much for a school that I'll most likely not go to. So I'm considering just not applying, which really makes me sad because this is like my dream uni. If it weren't coronavirus circumstances, then I would apply. Moral of the story is, don't take MAISL, don't take math studies, because no school recognizes that as real math. Okay, today is February 15th and I'm going to finally register for UNOS, University International. I also need to register for my IELTS. IELTS is only needed for UI, so I'm going to take that after my mocks because UI I don't think is due until June, which is nice. But earlier this month I had a meeting with my counselor because basically I was really stressed and she sort of gave me the rundown of what I'm supposed to do for all the Indonesian unis. But I also had to register for IELTS and like these standardized English tests are so expensive. It's 3 million. It's so crazy to me because I can speak English fluently, yet I have to take a test to prove it. Like, can't you just like look at my English scores? But my parents really want me to go to UI, so I'm just gonna take it. I'm not like worried about it. The only thing I'm really worried about is UI because I have to take the CMAC. I need to study for it, but I'm just gonna do that after my IB exams. If I end up having them, we'll see. And I was just feeling a little bit anxious because all my friends who applied to like American uni, they all got into their like unis and stuff, and I was like, I'm behind, but that's sure to just the process of where I'm applying to. I just finished another meeting with my university counselor because my BNOS application is due tomorrow and I was sort of just freaking out because I didn't know what I needed to do, but I think I figured it out. I didn't think that like the applying process would be this stressful because I know it's like a lot different from American universities application process, which is like what I'm more used to because I watch all of these like college decision reaction videos and people talking about their like experience applying to America and everything. Yeah, I'm just going through the BNOS requirements again because it says that I need an English score for either an IELTS or TOEFL. I already registered for my IELTS, but it's not until March 20th. And then my entrance exam is supposed to be on Saturday. I think I might just email them just to clarify. We'll see if they even reply before the due date because it's due tomorrow. I just didn't really understand the application process while I was doing it. I was just like filling in a bunch of stuff and it said that I needed this and I'm like, I don't have that. I have no idea what I need to do. I don't know. I don't want to stress out too much about BNOS because it's very much a backup option because they don't even have the major I want to do. But the major I'm applying for is really interesting, so like I won't necessarily be mad if I have to go to BNOS, but obviously Australia is more of a priority to me. Hi, it's 20th of February and it's 8:21 a.m. and I'm 10 minutes away from my entrance exam for BNOS and I'm kind of nervous because I don't really know what we're doing and I'm a little bit confused about like the logistics of like payments and stuff, but I think I can figure that out after I do the test. Just hope this goes well. I'll update you after the test. Hi, so it's like 10:30 a.m. I just finished my entrance test. I had no idea what I was doing like going into it. So the first section was like study skills where they asked like 30 questions about like how you study. It was 10 minutes long. And the second one was like a logic test, but it was math and like also like inductive/deductive reasoning. But the thing is, I don't remember the last time I haven't used a calculator for an actual like math test, and we can't use calculators, so I was struggling a lot. In the last like minute of the logic test, my Wi-Fi was like so not cooperating and I hadn't finished all my answers, so I was just like guessed a lot. And the third one was sort of like also a logic test. It's more visual, sort of like an IQ test. I think that one was okay. And the last one was reading comprehension. But then some of the questions were in Indonesian. I literally haven't taken an Indonesian class since year 10. So I was like, I don't know anything that's happening. So I like skipped all of them, and then when I'd finished like all the ones that were actually in English, I went back and I just guessed because like I don't know how to speak Indonesian. And also like the English and some of the questions were very good. Hi, I am going home from my IELTS. It went well, the speaking went well. I stuttered a bit, but you know, I think that's common. I feel like I tried to force as many like big words as I could in all these tasks. And I might have made a mistake for writing because there's two tasks, right? The first task is like analyze and summarize a graph, and then the second one was like they give you a prompt and you write about it. The minimum for the first task was 150 words. I think I wrote close to 500. And kicker is the second task, minimum was 250 words. And after the IELTS, I asked one of my friends who's also taking it, like, oh, how much did you write? She's like, my teacher said not to write like too much, not over 400. I wrote 1,000 words. I don't even know how. I just type, and then 1,000 words came out, and I hope that it doesn't decrease my concisiveness score, my cohesion score. So if I get lower than a 9 writing, that's fine. But I hope I made it up with like vocabulary because I tried to use all the big words I knew. So I'm gonna open my IELTS results. Apparently it's up. Okay, I got 8.5. Yeah, my writing was too long, so I got a 7.5 for that. But you know what? I was aiming for an 8.5, so that's good. It's because I wrote way too long. I just submitted my first application to Australia. Well, technically, my agent still has to submit it, but I approved everything, and we just need to resend my passport scan. And I'm also finally making progress on my application to UI. So I joined a Bimble for the CMAC. So basically, CMAC is like the entrance test, and I genuinely didn't like know anything about CMAC because so I decided to join a Bimble because first of all, there's not many resources for the international entrance exam because all the resources are in Indonesian, but turns out the Bimble is still in Indonesian. I joined the Bimble basically just to have some more resources and actually like know what I'm doing, because some of the subjects in the test is like geography and sociology and history. Like I didn't learn that stuff in IB, and I don't think I could self-study, so I'm doing that Bimble and hopefully it works out in the end. It's pretty intense. It's like a couple hours every day. It's 1 a.m. before my CMAC, and it's literally in 7 hours, and I just wanted to give some thoughts. I'm really nervous, first of all. That's probably why I can't sleep. Also, my sleep schedule is really messed up. I've been sleeping at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every day. I've been doing Bimble for a month. I haven't really studied until like this week plus last week. Like intensely studied. I did some casual studying before. I don't know if I'm necessarily that prepared, and I'm like this close to freaking out and crying, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna stay positive, and I'm just gonna try my best and hope that it goes okay. And if it doesn't go okay, then I'll accept it because I have other options if I don't get it. So I'm literally 10 minutes before my CMAC, and I got super snotty, if you can't tell, which is super annoying. So let's just hope that doesn't distract me. And I'm really nervous. I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not. So let's hope this goes well. I just literally finished like 30 minutes ago. I'm just so relieved that this is over because this has been plaguing my mind for the past month. And the amount of mental breakdowns I've had over CMAP is probably almost equal or more than I had for IB. And considering I've only been studying for CMAP for like a month, like I don't necessarily think I did amazing. If I don't get in, I'm not surprised. And if I did get in, I'll be really surprised. History was surprisingly went the best because actually a lot of the questions from history were the past papers I was doing, but there weren't that many past paper questions in other subjects. Math was hard because there was stuff I didn't even know, like there's inverted circular funicular equation. I didn't know how to do any of that. I wrote down things I wanted to like check answers to, but at this point I'm over it. Why would I spend more time on this if I don't have to? So I'm finally free. I literally haven't left the house in the past like a week and a half because I've been studying. And I get my results in 2 weeks, so we'll see if all the studying was worth it.